All right, Saltmarsh, Sun, Evil Tides of Saltmarsh, Ghost of Saltmarsh, whatever. Episode 33. It was it was awesome. It was an awesome session. A lot of cool stuff went down. This is after they almost had a party wipe last week. And this week they decided they wanted to take the ship out into the water and be pirates. And so that is exactly what they decided to do. So basically, they were going to go back from their lighthouse that they have claimed to Saltmarsh. And let's see, they're actually right about there. And uh, they could travel about 100 miles a day, so it's going to be about 3 days to get back to Saltmarsh. I rolled on my random encounter table. Nope, that's the treasure generator. Where was it? That's in a different window. DndSpeak.com, fantastic site for rollable tables. They encountered a ship full of monsters. I knew exactly which ship I wanted to use. I have a pirate ship already built that is crewed by hobgoblins, because hobgoblins are awesome and would make awesome pirates. So I had a hobgoblin ship all ready to go. So how we handle ship combat in my campaigns is it's a weird Frankenstein of a lot of different things. Normally they have their own ship, just as like, hey, this is our base of operation. Here's our ship. We're on the ship. And then this map can be changed as needed. I can, you can see on the GM layer, I could throw like a dock in there. I could throw all of their ships, that sort of thing. There's a whole section down here with the different interior parts of the ship, blah, blah, blah. When they encounter another ship at sea, we go over to this larger ocean. And you can see here are their two adorable little ships. Here's the Hobgoblin ship, and here's their ship. The ship is a miniature. It has its own stats and everything. So if I were to click on it, its character sheet pops up. Now, we can handle ship combat a number of different ways. It really comes down to what they want to do. If they want to destroy the other ship, the easiest way to do that is to do ship-to-ship combat. So the ships all use their stats. Occasionally, the player characters can jump in with support actions based on their ship rolls. But for the most part, it is your ship has stats, their ship has stats, and you fight it out that way. But what about the magic? So everyone's like, but I have a spell that instantly sinks ships. Cool. We're going to try to play a game with ships, though. So if everybody has a spell that can instantly sink ships, there's probably no way society or civilization would have developed to have ships. So, yeah. Fortunately, thanks to Critical Role and some other examples, people realized, oh wow, you can't really have ships in Dungeons and Dragons because they just automatically get destroyed by magic. The ships in my games are very expensive because they are built with some magic. They actually have resistance to magic. They get their own saving throws. They have immunities, all that jazz. They can be ensorcelled with additional immunities and resistances, etc., etc. Otherwise, no one would ever have made ships. Because wizards would have been like, you don't get ships, and priests would have been like, no ships for you. It would have been like Wild West, whoever draws their spell first sinks the other ship. And that's really stupid. So they have the ship-to-ship combat. That's cool. It's like a little mini game. But they wanted to capture the ship. So the easiest way to capture a ship is to get onto the ship and kill the captain. It's very chess. Like, capture the king, you win the game. Their strategy was to take advantage of the current, which we have a little token for, and the wind, which are both in their favor. This was randomly determined by the weather calendar and by a roll of the D8 is the easiest way to handle it, because I don't have a map of all the currents of the Sword Coast, so I just randomly determined it with a D8. I know that that's not how currents work, but whatever. So they took advantage of the current and the wind. and they put all of their resources into ramming the other ship. Now, the other ship had no intention of fighting, so this was all on them. They went full speed at the broadside, sure, of this ship. You'll notice, though, on this beautiful heroic map that there are 4 cannons aimed right at them. I determined that they would take 4 cannon shots before they were able to ram. Cannons hurt really bad. Their ship only has 200 health. If those cannons had gotten like a critical hit or something, it could have sunk their ship. This was definitely a brave / stupid move. High risk, high reward. They almost lost their whole campaign last week. Maybe that changed the way they feel about things. Maybe it just, they passed through the veil of fear, and now they are just like, we're going to do whatever our hearts desire. But man, was it cool. 3 of the 4 cannons hit. Ship was bloodied, or the equivalent, so it was listing at that point. It slammed gently into the other ship, and then, because the ships were touching close enough for boarding, we switched over to our boarding map. Yeah, it's a lot of work on the DM's side, but let me tell you, it is super cool when it gets pulled off correctly. Now, you're probably looking at all these minis and you're thinking to yourself, this guy is crazy. Why would he have so many miniatures on the map? Like, did you roll all of those into initiative? Absolutely not. You will notice in the turn order, it says basic bitches right here. These are all of the non-important NPCs. So, all of the 6 PCs and their assorted Pokemon, and all of the bad guys that are significant. So they had a troll, and they had 5 officers. Everyone else is just a distraction. So everybody who's on the BB track, right, when their initiative would come up, I would just randomly shuffle them around the map. That's all I would do. I would just pick up a few, shuffle them around, grab some groups, move them around. That would be it. The only thing that they did is cause difficult terrain. So if you shared a space with one, you were squeezing. If you moved through their space, it was difficult terrain. But the implication is that they were all fighting each other in the background. So you had these main 6 versus the main 6, and then you had all these people in the background that were just in the way. That would come into play with like area of effect spells and things like that. But they wouldn't provide a flanking bonus. They wouldn't provide the hobgoblins the ability to use their martial advantage. They would not provide the rogue the ability to sneak attack with an ally. They were terrain. They were a terrain feature. So, as a mechanic, that kept the battle moving really fast while also making it look like there was a whole lot going on. And it wound up being a really cool fight with some really cool stuff. We actually ended with the 2 captains sort of facing off against each other, having to decide, what the next move was going to be. Do they call a truce, or do they fight to the death? So it was a very dramatic way to end it. A very cool session. I really enjoyed it. There was a heroic death on the good guys' side. They also just whooped the bad guys significantly, and it was just really fun to see all this stuff on the map without having it adversely affect gameplay. So definitely a good method that I would recommend for you is you've got the wider shot of the whole ocean. Quickly figure out the best way for them to close for combat if that's what they're trying to do, so that you could just get back into traditional D&D and make it happen. If they love playing the ship minigame, just play the ship minigame, but don't overcomplicate it. If they're going to play the We Are Ships minigame, make them be ships. They're not ships that have wizards, they are ships. And then save that kind of stuff for the more traditional D&D part. All right, hopefully this is helpful for anybody trying to run ship combat or mass combat, and I will talk to you guys later.